think the last time it happened to me, it happened at a bar right down the street on Roswell Road here, called the Ivy, where I was meeting up with a couple of people, and then we were going to go somewhere else. And while I was at that bar, I had way too many people coming up to me going, "Oh my God, my mom listens to you. Oh my God, my dad listens to you." And I'm like, I am in the wrong place. Friends, get here so I can get out of here. Always the signs that you're getting a little bit older.
To be fair, I also feel old in that bar, and I am in my 20s.
Okay.
I think the median age there is 18. So there are definitely some moments before the age of 30 that are going to happen to you. Canon events, if you will, that will remind you that the sun is setting on your youth. And I will never forget the first time I went back to my alma mater, the University of Florida, and I just looked around and I was like, did I look like this 3 years ago? Did I look this young? Everyone's got all their collagen, their baby cheeks. They're running around in their Converse and their jean shorts. And this weekend, I went back to the University of Florida. And now that I'm 27 and I've been back a couple of times, I'm used to going there and feeling out of place. It's very jarring the first times you go back and you're not a student and you're like, oh, like this isn't my home anymore. But now it's just me going back to my alma mater. And the first time you go into that old college bar and you look around and you don't recognize a single soul and they all look like they should be in diapers. That's how young they look. It's a jarring feeling. But
these are some of the people you're going to get on your new profile change.
These are my potential boyfriends. Really, I went back to UF just to find all the seniors that were getting ready to graduate. I was trying to recruit them to date me. So I was thinking back to all the other times that have happened as I'm approaching 30 that have made me feel old. Because now when I say, oh, I'm old, people kind of like roll their eyes and like, okay, yeah, you're so old. But it's going to get to a point where people aren't going to roll their eyes anymore.
Yeah, to a 19-year-old you are. To a 17, no, seriously, to a 17-year-old you are, right? You remember looking at that age when you were young going, oh my God, when I'm 30, oh my God. Yeah.
No, I was telling Kristen this. I was like, age is relative. Like when I was at UF this weekend, a younger guy hit on me and I told him I was too old for him. He's like, I don't mind a cougar.
Okay,
and I was like, to a 20-year-old, I am a cougar. It's just all relative. So I was thinking back to some of the other moments that were non-university related that made me feel really old as I graduated college. And I was thinking back to some of them and cringing. And the first time I remember feeling really old outside of going back to college was when I was on a little grocery store run and I was like in Publix and I heard a song on the radio and I was like, that's a song that I loved in high school. And here they are playing it on the throwback station in the grocery store. Because you know how they only play like the hot AC songs in a grocery store? Like they're not playing our station. They're playing the songs that were cool and throwbacks. I was like, oh my God, this is a One Direction song from 2012. And they're playing it like it's a throwback. And then my first gray hair appeared. The second time, and I feel like everyone has experienced this, at some point is when you walk into like a Starbucks or maybe you're at Target and you're checking out and there's some high schooler behind the cash register and they call you ma'am. Oh my God. When you get called ma'am or sir for the first time and you know they're saying it with sincerity, they're not just being like Southern and nice. Oh my God.
You don't forget
Second gray hair.
Yeah, it happened to me in the gym. Somebody, some kid was asking me to spot him and he said, sir, can you spot me? And I'm like, oh. Sir. I'm going to drop this thing right in your neck.
No, I can't.
2 years ago, I was slapping Franja out of the bag and now I'm ma'am. The third is when a new TV show comes out and it's a hot new TV show geared at the young folk. And the TV show Heartthrob is too young for you. And you look at that heartthrob and you go, oh my God, you're a baby. And yet all you can see on your timeline is just like thirst trap edits and all the 17-year-olds are like, oh my God, Jacob Elordi, he's so hot. And you're like, he's a child. He's too young for me. The fourth time I felt super old post-grad was, of course, being a bridesmaid in somebody's wedding that you are friends with. It's not like a family member where you're like 17 and you're a junior bridesmaid and it's like kind of cute and quirky. I was like, no, this is a friend of mine. She's like 2 years older than me. She's getting married. I'm in this wedding because we are friends, because we are both adults. And here I am legally drinking at this wedding. Ugh, fourth gray hair sprouted. And then the only time you are going to feel older than the first time going back to your college bar for the first time and looking around and realizing you don't recognize a single soul there because they are all 5 years younger than you. Oh, you will never feel older in your 20s than when you go to a legitimate city like Atlanta or New York, and you walk into an establishment like the Ivy, a bar that at one point I would have been turned away from for being too young, and you realize you are the oldest person there, and you are not allowed to be at the young person's establishment anymore. You will never feel older at 25 than that.
I feel like it goes full circle, but it takes an entire life to get there, right? Like at one point or another, you look too young, and people are so impressed that you're doing whatever you're doing at too young, and then you get so old that they're like, "Oh my God, he's still or she is still doing that. That is so cool." But you have to wait 70 years in between.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I feel like that when I get something to drink and they don't ask me for my ID.
Yes.
I feel old. Like, no, take my ID.
Right.
Like, no, you don't need it.
Don't insult me. Yeah, you do.
Yes, I do.
The Bert Show.